Atlanta Moms on the Move and My Atlanta Moms bring you a fantastic interview with The Help.
Kathryn, explain your relationship with your co-mother growing up, and would you say that you relate a little to Mae Mobley?
Oh, I actually would not use the word co-mother.
Okay.
Because, but it's totally okay that you did, because that was so many people's experience. That was Tate's experience with Carol Lee. My, Dimitri was her name. She worked for my grandmother for 32 years. So there was a very hierarchical setup there. Grandmother was the boss. She was an amazing woman. She ran a tight ship. She grew up in Shanghai, so she understood, class and the boundaries, So I had a very, very unique relationship with her because my mom worked. She was single, and I'd get dumped off at my grandmother's after school. My brothers and sisters were older. And it'd just be me and Dimitri in the house. She used to stand me in front of this big wardrobe mirror. It's so funny, it was in the kitchen. And that's where Dimitri always was in that kitchen. And she'd stand me in front of that mirror and just say, "Look at you. You're so beautiful." I was not. I was as dorky as looking, 4 eyes. The kid, I was strangely short and never brushed my teeth. And I'm lucky I got any left. And she just would say, "You look at yourself. You're worth something." And that was the message that kept running through my head when I first started writing in her voice.
You were calm, you were smart. That's what it reminds me of.
Exactly. The fact that she would give that gift to me. She had no children of her own. But when you ask her, "How many children do you have?" she'd say 3. So it was me, my brother, and my sister. She was an amazing, generous person.
Do you think Hilly ever learned her lesson when it came to integration?
No.
Really?
Or would she have? I think Gilly's going to be fighting that demon her entire life until she dies. She's that self-centered.
Stubborn.
And, she's just sick. And we know that people really exist like that in the world. They're not everywhere. They're not as common as they are in literature and movies. But those are the people that I always want to create the conflict with. The ones that are just so
set in their way.
Immersed in what they believe in.
Octavia, really, I want to know, you're like my grandmother reincarnated. So I want to know, where did you draw your experience from to be able to be so real and so authentic in that character? I loved her.
Well, I think a lot of it began with the source material. Kathryn wrote an amazing novel, and Tate adapted it amazingly. The rest, you have to do a lot of research about the time period since it preceded me, and working with an acting coach and building the part of Minnie that you don't know about, what her childhood was like. So I drew on all of the strong women that have influenced my life. So.
Because it was so real.
Like
was
your grandmother. No, your mother.
My mom. Yeah, my mom.
In your mom's life.
Yeah. Yeah, my mom, I would say my sisters, I would say my dear friends. There are a lot of people, Merle Evers.
Because that character was so familiar. It's like, oh, that's my mom, that's my grandma. It was so familiar to me.
I think there are a lot of women who are like that. A lot of us.
Love you. I could watch it over and over again. And one more question first. Most stories have a happy ending. I want to hear your take on what is the moral of the story, and
you'll never read anything that I write that has a moral to it.
Okay.
Y'all know me. I'm sick-minded. It's not my role in life to ever try to teach anybody a lesson. If y'all knew the routes that I've taken in life, and the wrong turns I've made, I just, and not to mention, I don't want to read something where someone's trying to teach me a lesson. I'm just glad that somehow, in some circuitous way, people are talking about this topic of race and relationships, and bringing up a part of history that people have kind of forgotten, that this little tiny bubble. And I'm certainly not I never was want to just act like I was trying to represent the entire black race of Mississippi in 1960. This is a tiny, a very small population, a bubble that, you know, was affected by class, and I don't know, I wanted it to be on paper, and I wanted people to look back on that and think about it and see how ridiculous some of those rules were.
And y'all met in L.A., right? Like before this was even...
No, we met in New Orleans.
In New Orleans,
Yeah,
okay.
New Orleans.
Through Tate, right?
Kate and Octavia lived together for what?
4 or 5 years. Recently.
How was that?
It was very interesting.
Living with a man.
Very. No, when I met Kathryn, it was like, what was it?
How old was I? I was a year old.
Yeah.
And y'all were holding court at the Sonia house, telling funny stories about each other. And just the way you tell a story, Octavia. you have so much rich material in you. And Tate likes to say, I could watch Octavia reading the phone book.
And he has.
Octavia, it's been mentioned, obviously, that, well, at least I read that you cooked a lot during the movie, and that you yourself actually didn't cook so much. Is that true?
You are so sweet and how delicate you put that. Minnie is an amazing cook. Octavia is not a cook at all. It's not something I understand.
But that's okay, because neither am I. And actually, you had said in an interview that you had to look for the broil. And I'm not lying. This happened yesterday. I went to look for that broil.
Thank you.
Okay,
If you live with the microwave and that's all you've ever done, you don't know what the broil button does. And you don't even really look at the broil button.
You feel better. So.
Thank you. Here's to you. Seriously, people don't understand that.
I wondered how many people were like me, and this kind of filled in part of your history, because I'm 45 and I grew up in Arkansas, and my grandmother, I know, had a maid that came in from when she was first married. That always kind of blew my mind. But Willie Mae was the lady that worked for her, and she was like part of the family. So that was a problem with anybody.
Like family.
I think, I don't know. Because that's why I hate using it when I describe Tate. I mean, he's like my brother. He pretty much is my brother, and Brunson pretty much is my brother. I don't know. I don't know.
Do you mean it's okay to say is part of family, or you just stay away from it?
Well, well, honey, that's a long discussion that I don't even.
Because my mother says that Leontine, who worked for them for 45 years, was part of the family, and she was with her on the day she died.
I'll leave you with this question, because I don't know your mom's relationship with Leontine or Willie Mae. If you don't know much about her life outside of what she did for your family, then how much family can you be?
No,
if you know about her life and her kids and whatever it was, then perhaps you were family.
We did.
So then you were family. So, you know, you can own that. But I think people, you know, I don't know.
Yeah.
I know that there were lessons that you said you didn't really necessarily put out there for people to learn, but with Minnie, she's dealing with abuse inside the home and outside the home. Is there any kind of message that you would give to women that are dealing with that now?
Yes. You know, until I stopped judging Minnie, because she's this dichotomy, you know, to the world she is brave, but in her own home she's not. And then I realized she is brave, because everything she endured was for her children. And but I think women have options now, and you don't have to endure it. Be there for your children, but be healthy and happy, and get help if you're going through that type of abuse, is what I would say, because we have those resources now. They didn't have them then.
Kathryn, how did you end up in this?
I was in New York for 16 years. Tate and I have an apartment up there together. And I was in magazine publishing, and my husband and I, literally, like one day, at this apartment on the Upper West Side, different from me and Tate. One day, my daughter Lila's in the bathtub. The nanny's reaching over, giving her a bath. And the bathtub's, I don't know, about the size of this table. I mean, you know, like this narrow, it's one of those little narrow jobs. And the bathroom, it was so small. I'm at the sink, and my husband is on the toilet. And I'm all four of us in that same room. I said, we got to get a bigger apartment. We got to get a second bathroom. And so we examined our situation and decided that if we needed to have a little bit more room, we needed to move outside of New York City. It was like the real estate bubble. You know, everything was so expensive. So we moved to Atlanta, and funny enough, we bought a house where we're all still using the same bathroom. Oh. Except now you're using the bathroom down the street. Oh, goodness.
In the movie, I thought it was very ironic how it was okay for the help to hug and kiss the children, but not use the toilet. So is that something, I just wasn't sure, is that something how it really went down on your research, or is that just something for dramatic purposes?
No. I don't think they were hugging and kissing the children in front of the children's parents.
Because in the movie there's a scene, I forget what scene,
not kissing.
her hugging. I felt Abilene hugged a lot. She did.
Yeah.
Made Mobley a lot, and Elizabeth never said anything, but then they had a toilet for her outside. I was just wondering if that really happened.
In my grandmother's house, there was a door out on the side of the house. I never wondered what it was. I thought it was a storeroom or something until after she died. And I still to this day have never been in there. Oh, really? I know I should go in there and just face my demons, but
Or burn it.
Burn my grandmother's house down. Just that area. One way. I guess it's just, and it never occurred to me. That's how private, and that's why I guess that's one of the reasons why I'm sensitive to that phrase like family, because that is absolutely what I thought before I started writing the story. And then I realized, holy shit, she knew everything about us. We knew so little about her. You know, we knew she went to church. We knew, you know, where she bought her groceries, but we didn't really know. And I love that line that Tate put in there. No one had ever asked me what it feels like to be me.
Yeah.
That is so beautiful. I wish I'd written that.
You should tell people that you did, Pumpkin.
No, you don't know. You stole that from me. I just left it out of the book.
I left it out of the book, but yeah.